All right, good evening, everyone. My name is John Kirsch. I am the CEO of Kirsch CPA Group, and it is my sincere pleasure and honor to be the host of this evening's activities. And welcome to the 2024 edition of the Butler Warren Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame. So how's everybody doing? How we doing? Hopefully all of you got a chance to network. I saw a lot of networking going on over there, maybe a little BSing going on too, but that's fine too. Hopefully you had the opportunity to meet some old friends and make some new ones. So tonight we're going to take some time to break bread. We're going to learn a little bit more about junior achievement and, most importantly, honor 4 important community and business leaders. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. Our crack AV team, we were doing a little sound check and they told me to speak up a little bit. I haven't been told that in quite a while. So we're also honored to have with us tonight some of our past laureates, as well as many other community leaders who through the years have helped keep this great tradition alive and expand the reach of junior achievement. And speaking of those past laureates, I would ask you to join me in welcoming those that are in attendance this evening. I ask the laureates to please remain standing as I call your name. Please hold your applause until all of them have been announced. So in alphabetical order, don't want anybody's ego to get affected here. So in alphabetical order, Joe Ballou, Don Crane, Mike Dingledine, Woody Fitton, John Gaduli, Bill Groth, Joe Henson, Bill Keck, John Kirsch, who let him in, Kathy Klink, Nick Lonnie, Heather Lewis, Dave Lippert, Jackie Parrish, Lee Parrish, Bob Weigel, Jack Whalen, and Craig Wilkes. Let's give a round of applause for this esteemed group. And now, if you'd please stand for our national anthem, performed by Luaya Anthony. Luaya's at Hamilton High.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow. Thank you, Luaya. Wow. Please be seated. So I'll go off script here for 1 minute, although it seems appropriate at this time to recognize all the veterans in the room. If you're a veteran of the armed forces, would you please stand and let us recognize you? Don't be bashful. Thank you. So I now have the pleasure to introduce Steve Lippert, who is the retired Executive Vice President of Hamilton Castor. And I was talking with Steve during the reception. He told me that retirement was going just fine for him. Thrilled to hear that. Now, I have a brother-in-law that's retired for quite a while, and what he tells me, I get constant complaints about long hours and low pay. Is that true or not? So Steve is the chair of our Hall of Fame steering committee and has really been a force in making this event a reality. Steve?
Thank you, John, and welcome everyone. Thanks to all of you for joining us this evening to celebrate our laureates. Tonight is truly our privilege to pay tribute to 4 individuals whose careers and leadership have made a tremendous impact and a lasting impact on our business community. Those of you who know our laureates personally have had the good fortune to witness that impact firsthand. And each laureate leaves a lasting legacy representing our community's highest business principles. And I also want to thank the Business Laureates representatives who were instrumental in making the laureate's story properly honored tonight. It's a big job helping all this come together, and they were a big part of that, and we thank them. And finally, I want to thank all of you for attending tonight. You make this event a night to remember for each of our laureates, and we are grateful that you're here to celebrate this honor, and your support goes a long way in making sure students get to have the junior achievement experience in their schools. And I'll leave the script now. I am teaching currently at Endeavor Middle School 2 5th grade classes in a JA curriculum. And yesterday we were talking about the wonderful free market economy we enjoy, and also in telling them how important profits are. So anyway, it's good to be in the classroom with these students and giving them some economic understanding, even in 5th grade. And lastly, I want to thank Katie Waitman, who is with JAA's staff, and she has worked tirelessly with me for this whole time of planning. So she's done a great job. We would be remiss if we didn't celebrate and honor our reception sponsor, Haran Wealth. The Haran table is over there to my right, your left, for their generous contribution to making this evening a success. And of course, everyone's financial support of junior achievement makes a difference in the lives of students. Now, it's my honor to introduce this year's laureates, and I'll give the same instructions. If each laureate would stand, and we'll hold the applause till I go through all 4 of them. First is Tom Duskalikis, CEO of Clinton Memorial Hospital. Then we have Lee Geiger, a partner at Bricker and Graydon. Karen Mueller, Executive VP and partner at Hub Haran. And last but not least, Joshua Smith, the city manager for the city of Hamilton. Congratulations all. Thank you so much. As I mentioned, the proceeds from tonight's celebration support junior achievement, and junior achievement builds tomorrow's business leaders through education and programming that teaches kids K through 12 career readiness, financial literacy, and also entrepreneurship. Thank you again for all of you for choosing to join us this evening to celebrate this very deserving class of laureates.
Okay, let's hear it again for Steve and all the work he's done with JA. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Steve Brokamp. He's the Education Director for Western Ohio with Junior Achievement. And Steve is going to share with you more about the amazing things that Junior Achievement is doing in our community, and importantly, how you might have the opportunity to get involved. So please help me welcome Steve.
Thank you, John. And thank you to everyone here, by the way, and including our past and present inductees, their families, guests, our donors, classroom volunteers, event volunteers, and JA board members. Many of you, by the way, wear many hats and fit those descriptions in multiple ways. Thank you for wearing those multiple hats, and thank you all for being here. I'd like to make special note of our national anthem performer once more, Lawaya Anthony. From Hamilton High School, who already has won Best Vocalist numerous times, most recently at Voices in the Grove and the Teays Valley competitions. Lawaya is accompanied tonight by Wendy Spurlock, the Fine Arts Director at Hamilton High School. Thank you to both of you for a job well done. I'm also asking the JA staff to raise a hand and give a wave from their respective locations. This phenomenal team of fundraisers, grant writers, technology experts, curriculum writers, and program experts, led by our president and CEO, Jeff Taylor, salutes you for supporting our efforts in reaching over 47,000 students in our tri-state region just last year. So as the photos on the screen scroll along here, you'll see in no particular order students from all over our region being inspired to succeed in an ever-increasing competitive landscape of career readiness, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship. You'll see two young entrepreneurs presenting at JA's Innovation Generation program. It's an airline innovation that they created with an emphasis on luring more women and minorities into the industry. You'll see a kindergarten student navigating a virtual career exploration in a virtual reality goggles at a recent JA elementary school event. You'll see JA board members and other corporate volunteers presenting to students at our in-person events, like our career exploration and Inspire to Hire events. You'll see high school students delivering their elevator pitches on JA's Pitch Perfect stage to corporate experts in an America's Got Talent format. You'll see author visits promoting the link between reading fluency, financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship. You'll see high school-aged and aspiring teachers trained by JA to deliver elementary programming. You'll see an Olympic gold medalist showing how to overcome hurdles and break barriers. You'll see a student making a trade at our stock market challenge competition. And yes, you'll even find our JA staff at the Farm Science Review in Columbus, Ohio area, a massive outdoor event hosting thousands of students interested in the businesses of farming, sustainability, and environmental careers. We do a lot, and we do a lot because of your generous support. So none of these high-quality programs could be at all created or presented without your generosity, our greatest supporters. So at this moment, I'd like to direct your attention to the screens one more time. Many of your companies have invited you to join us this evening in support of Junior Achievement. As you can see by the proceeds, this evening's impact is students all over Butler and Warren counties, as well as some other surrounding counties in Southwest Ohio. I don't see the If you would like to be a part of providing more local students with the tools they need for economic success, we ask that you consider making a donation to Junior Achievement this evening. Everyone who donates at least $50 tonight will support a student's financial success through JA programming. There are some pledge cards and envelopes on the table in front of you to contribute to JA or learn more ways to be involved in JA programs and events. Please complete the pledge card, and if you would, place it in the envelope and into the center of the table. Thank you again so much this evening for coming out and supporting us once again.
Please welcome tonight's presentation of What I Want to Do.
When I grow up.
When I grow up,
I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck.
I don't want to cry when paying the bills.
when I grow up,
I don't want to be turned down for a business loan.
I don't want to borrow a lot for an education.
and then not know what to do with it.
When I grow up, I don't want to be paid less.
Told I'm underqualified.
Or overqualified.
When I grow up,
When I grow up,
I want to know how to save for my future. Find a job I like.
And start my own business.
When I grow up.
I want to know how to provide for my family.
and invest in my community and make a difference.
When I grow up.
When I grow up,
When I grow up,
When I grow up. I just want things to be different.
At Junior Achievement, we promote economic empowerment through education, but we can't do it alone.
Thank you, Steve. Or achieve already is. I started my remarks saying there were three things we accomplish: was break some bread, was learn a little bit more about JA, and now we're on to the part most of you have been waiting, and that is honor laureates, hear their stories, and recognize them. So I would ask that you direct your attention screen story of our first laureate, Tom Descacales. Attention to the screen.
The best words that I would use to describe Tom would be compassionate,
collaborator, hardworking,
honest.
and early on in his career, he reached out to me because of his new role and wanted to meet people in the community. So we sat down and talked, and was really impressed with the fact that he took a lot of notes. He, I think, recognized early on that he wanted to make sure that the name on the building was not necessarily their border, and wanted to make sure that there was an expansion of the name along this corridor.
He was always putting his best foot forward from the hospital perspective. I think that he made a better hospital here in Westchester.
But also wanted to make sure that he was able to embrace the community by knowing as many people and what was going on with our community as possible. I think he surely recognized up front how important a community hospital was to the community.
Westchester Hospital was fairly new, and so he took it over, and as you can imagine, things were always in sort of chaos. They were moving it forward. They were trying to figure out the place that Westchester Hospital played in the region, and when Tom took it over, he began to really make it what it is today.
Tom and I met back in August of 2016 when I had first become the superintendent at Butler Tech, and he actually outreached with a phone call and wanted to meet for coffee and just have some conversation about possibly partnering together on some work with students. From there, we developed a friendship and connected. He had all kinds of remarkable ideas about trying to help kids and working in the hospital, and it really just blossomed from there. He has given them a tremendous amount of opportunities, whether it's our biomedical engineering students working right next to doctors who are doing surgeries, whether he's pulling out the robotic surgery apparatus for our students to practice on, giving our Project Search students opportunities within the hospital. He's absolutely dedicated to doing what's best for patients as well as doing what's best for our students at Butler Tech.
Tom has this capacity to remember people's names.
Tom builds culture in any organization that he's a part of.
I mean, everybody, doctors, staff, nurses. It's an amazing thing.
He builds a culture where people feel like they can provide suggestions and comments about how to make the hospital better or how to make the organization better. And he takes action when it comes to those suggestions. He listens to people, whether it's the custodian or the doctor or the patient. He is willing to listen and entertain what he can do to make the space that he works in and the organization better.
His impact here was much greater than just the hospital itself, but it was the interaction that he had in different communities and different industries with both a patient and their family, friends, and I think something that people very much appreciated, and especially in difficult times that we had most recently with COVID, where again they were a community leader and going through that process and working with our community and bringing people together. If you look on Facebook, he's always bragging about his family, and rightly so. His wife, his children have gone on and done great things. Tom is very community-oriented, he's very family-oriented.
His connectedness with his family and with his children and with his wife continues to inspire him to be the person that he is today.
You know, Tom is in a new role now up north, still in healthcare, and he surely is embracing that area and doing what he did in our area now up in the Clinton County area. When Tom is in the workplace, it's all about work, it's all about people that work for him, it's all about the patients, but when he's away from work, it's all about his family.
I would say this about Tom. He's the mortar that really holds things together, just as the mortar does when you build a house out of brick. He's the guy that's the glue. His love, his faith, his passion is really what makes him a very special man. And I can count on one hand how many people I'd like to be like, and Tom is one of those guys.
First of all, Tom, I have said your last name more times in the last 2 days than anybody on the face of the earth. And I think I still didn't quite, so I'm going to try again. But before that, now as part of my responsibilities here, I've tried to get to know all of the laureates a little bit better, extract out some of the knowledge they have to pass along the healthcare confidentiality. I asked Tom if he could pass along to me that concept in a very succinct. So I'll pass along what he told me. So this is going to be an interactive exercise, okay? Okay, so you ready? All right, knock, knock. HIPAA. So would you please join me in welcoming 2024 Junior Achievement Hall of Fame laureate Tom Dasakaliki. Is that close enough? My apologies. Presenting Tom with his award is Sherry Taylor.
Thank you. Wow, that was a showcase that was quite spectacular of Tom. Thank you to Junior Achievement of OKI Partners for honoring all of these individuals tonight and providing us the opportunity to just slow down and reflect on all of their contributions to our lives and our work. The guidelines tonight suggested highlighting the personal connection to Tom, either mine or the family that I'm representing. So I'm here tonight on behalf of Tom's Mason Deerfield Chamber family. And the sentiments that I'm actually going to be providing tonight embody Tom. As we all heard, they are a collaboration from his fellow board members. So not only has he served as an outstanding board member for 10 years, but he stepped up and served an additional year as our board chair during the COVID-19 pandemic, all while working as CAO of a hospital that was part of a teaching and research institution that was facing the crisis head on. Through it all, Tom did not back down and rose to the occasion. Tom is collaborative, visionary, and above all, humble. His approach to problem solving with different industries, his passion for community, and his commitment to relationships make him an incredible leader, person, and friend. Tom has the rare combination of insight, intelligence, and kindness. His insights lead teams to accomplish more than they thought possible, while his kindness ensures the team is healthy and cohesive. Tom always made sure our mission guided our path. In the boardroom, Tom nurtured an environment that bore creative thought and allowed for hard discussions to be had. Tom's unique blend of financial acumen, operational mastery, and compassionate leadership was the perfect recipe for an organization in transition, propelling our chamber from recovering to thriving during his tenure as our board chair. Tom is not only a valued colleague, but also a trusted advisor, and more importantly, a friend. Tom's creativity and execution in partnerships separate him from most. Many people pursue partnerships, but no one approaches them like Tom. Before even proposing the idea, he has already thought through how to make sure it truly is a win-win. He's selfless, he's creative, his commitment and execution never disappoint. We owe a great deal of gratitude to his wife, Dory, for championing him and sacrificing life's finite gift of time with him for the greater good of our region. Thank you. To Ivanthia and Gus, we know you're looking down and so proud of your son. Thank you, Tom, for all you've done for Butler and Warren counties. Your investment in all of us is immeasurable. And Tom is super fun also. We didn't hear much about that, so I'm going to end with this. Tom is the least arrogant person. He has never let his success give him a big head. So tonight, his Mason Deerfield Chamber family decided it was a well-earned evening for us to make sure to tell Tom, it's okay to have a big head, or maybe 10. Go ahead and soak it all up. You deserve this recognition, Tom. Congratulations.
All right, my comments are going to be brief because I never know what I'm going to say. I'm deeply humbled. When I look at the back of the program of all the laureates that have been here in the past, when I look at the other laureates that are being recognized today, I'm literally in wow. What makes it even more special of the laureates that are being awarded today, they're my friends. I look around the room today. You're no longer business colleagues anymore. You're my friends. And I think that's what makes it special when we talk about partnerships and we talk about relationships and sticking through hard times like COVID and so on. We're not approaching this as business people anymore. We're doing this as family. And I think in the 15 years that I've spent in the Westchester and Mason Deerfield area and Liberty, you have adopted me as a family member. And it's an honor to have served here, and you will always be my family. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Congratulations. So I would ask you again to please direct your attention to the screens to hear the story of our next laureate, Lee Geiger.
Lee is responsible, reliable. He's the guy you want to call if you have a people problem, you have an employment problem or a labor problem. He's heard them all after this much time, and he's an individual who can kind of put your mind at rest because he has seen it all.
Lee is a facilitator. He connects people.
Connection, community, support. That's all what Lee's about, is getting people connected to grow.
Lee shows up. Lee's present, and he's available to deal with people who are dealing with conflict from a legal standpoint, some of the employment and labor work.
Lee wants to help businesses grow And so he does that through his practice in labor and employment and making sure that employers are fostering a great environment for their employees.
And he's also present for those folks who are really just looking to take advantage of opportunity. And there's been a lot of opportunity in Butler, and as a leader in our Westchester Liberty office, he has tried to seize upon those opportunities and get people working more closely together.
So he's all about growing and developing younger attorneys at the firm, as well as supporting his peers as well.
I met Lee Geiger after his partner at the law firm Graydon, Chris Worrell, passed away unexpectedly. And Lee was thrust into a position of leadership both for the law firm as well as in the community. Lee was a mentee to Chris, and so Lee needed to lead the future of this office that Chris had planned as far as coming out from downtown to Westchester into Liberty. You know, and I know that obviously knowing Chris as I did, that he thought a lot of Lee. During COVID, he was a busy man. Phone calls, Zoom meetings, constantly trying to keep up to speed with things that are changing daily, let alone hourly, as far as rules and regulations of which he could and couldn't do during COVID. His expertise at that period of time was unique and different, and one that very much valued by all of us. Lee Geiger played a key role in bringing this region together past COVID and moving to the next level that we're at today.
He's a family guy, and whatever the family is involved in, Lee's excited about and enthusiastic about.
I know he loves his family very dearly. He's very involved in all of their extracurriculars and schooling.
Very much somebody community-oriented, somebody very much family-oriented.
And he loves being at his kids' activities and making sure he can be there and support them.
He spends a lot of time at work, a lot of time on giving back to the community. But if you ask Lee what the most important thing for him is, it's his family and it's basically his children and their growth and development and different things they're involved with.
But in addition to family and work, Lee knows it's important that the Butler County area flourish. He also knows that that's not someone else's responsibility, that's Lee's responsibility. And he's taken it upon himself, and his enthusiasm for that neck of the woods has really been infectious for people at Brick or Graydon, as well as others who work alongside him.
Every venue that I've ever seen Lee in, he's always in charge or one of the ones working in the background to make everything happen well.
He was a great resource in giving everybody hope that things will get better, and was that resource and that person there that if you had any questions, someone you could go to. And I think that was a real help to us in moving forward through COVID-19.
He also cares about the people in the office. Oftentimes, if I'm walking the halls of the office, there's someone in Lee's office and he's got a smile on his face, and so does the other person. That's a pretty good quality to have.
And he brings great humor. He loves to leave little notes on the coffee pot every morning to give everybody a smile when they come in during the day, which just puts everybody at ease and in a great mood for the rest of the day.
Lee got involved in the community, Lee got involved with our board, and Lee basically took up very quickly the leadership of their office and the leadership in the community that Chris Worrell had established when he brought the office out here.
Lee's impact on this firm is going to be the consistent quality work he's done for Brick or Graydon clients. Day in and day out, Lee hammers that nail. He returns phone calls, he's responsive, he's available, he's present, and above all else, Lee is a friend to our clients.
So as was illustrated in the video, we can see that Lee is a steadfast advocate for his clients. So I was eavesdropping on one of the conversations during the reception, and Lee, I actually heard one of your clients talking about you. And they said that you were representing them in a Department of Labor hearing. And it was a spirited discussion, but as would be no surprise to anybody that knows Lee, he carried the day for his client. And as they were walking out, Lee, being the kind of guy that he is, said to the client, well, you know, I have to know, did you really do some of the things that they were accusing you of doing in there? And the client thought for a moment and turned to Lee and said, well, Lee, with that amazing argument that you made, I'm beginning to think that I really didn't do some of those things. So would you please join me in welcoming Lee Geiger, and presenting his award is Kent Wellington.
No knock-knock jokes for Lee, I guess. My name is Kent Wellington. I'm the Cincinnati market leader for Bricker Graydon. Good to have our friends from Haran in the house tonight, representing as they always do. I've worked alongside Lee for almost 25 years as a lawyer, counselor, mentor at times, and a friend. I take full responsibility for Lee's greatness. I taught him everything he knows. Lee's in the right line of work. He's a problem solver and a rock solid, always responsive voice on the other end of the phone, sometimes a shoulder to cry on for some clients, but as you heard tonight, he's got a little bit of a sense of humor. He pushed it a little bit when our firm merged. He asked me if it would be okay to send an all-hands email with Taylor Swift song titles to our new Bricker Graydon merged law firm. I was skeptical that Lee could pull it off. Look at him.
But I did.
After all, it could backfire and lead to some bad blood. I wasn't sure Lee would be able to shake it off, and we would never, ever get back together. But Lear was fearless and pulled it off. He's now the firm's resident expert in the Fair Labor Standards Act, the Americans with Disability Act, and friendship bracelets. There was a civil rights leader named Howard Washington Thurman, and he said of our life's work, he said, don't ask the world or your community what it needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and go do that. Because what the world or our communities need are people who have come alive. It has been an absolute pleasure watching Lee come alive the past 25 years as a trusted legal advisor, a family man, and a man for others in this community. So please join me in congratulating your new Hall of Famer, Lee Geiger.
This is not, Katie's going to yell at me. This is not the way this is supposed to go down. Thank you to everybody. Thank you very much to Junior Achievement. JA is a great organization that really provides practical guidance to students, and it's stuff that everybody needs to learn. Thanks to Katie Waitman and everybody on the JA team. Katie gets the award for herding cats. She's awesome at that. I, like Tom, was incredibly humbled to get this award. I kept, when Linda O'Connor called me, I said, are you sure? Are you sure? Did they get the right guy? And then I then I found out it was Tom and Karen and Joshua, and I'm like, whoa, I was the fourth choice, clearly. And then I looked at the list of laureates in the past and realized that I better snatch this up while I can, because no chance I'm getting back into this group. So I do want to thank my family. The video, it was awesome that rang through to people, and it does ring through to people. I am elated that Karen, my wife, is here. She's put up with me we've been married for 26 years and together even longer than that. So she's the best teacher that I've ever seen, ever, hands down. Dory, though, Daskalaki's very close second, very close, but I'm biased here. We've got our youngest daughter, Claire, here tonight. You'll be reading about her in about 10 years. She's either going to be flying a plane for the Air Force, she's going to be some type of biomedical engineer or something, but I can promise you that you'll be reading about her. Our other two kids wish that they could be here. They're off at college. So I want to say thank you to Joe Hinson and everyone at the Westchester Liberty Chamber Alliance. Thanks to all the clients that are in the room. Thanks to Jason Clark for being up on the video. Man, I work with some good people. I do. You won't find a finer person than Kent Wellington. and the people that I work with give me an opportunity to come to events like this and to meet people like this. We have the best jobs too, because I do labor and employment work, and employees do stupid stuff. And we have some of the best stories. We can't even tell you half of them, but we get stuff like emotional support lizards, people that identify as pirates, all of that stuff. But I just want to talk, not about myself, I want to talk about some of my awesome colleagues that are here. Kent Wellington started the Karen Wellington Foundation. He's a spectacular human being, one of the finest people I've ever met, and one of the best mentors ever. I hit the lottery. Trish Hill, thanks for being in the video. We became friends over Bill's Donuts within minutes. But let me tell you something terrifying is when you got to pick people to do your video. And Trish is doing a great job leading our Liberty Center office. But I went to Trish and I'm like, will you do the video? And she goes, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to do that? It's terrifying to say yes and know that she's got the open mic. Also part of our team, Laura Cady. Laura's stuck with me on a whole bunch of cases. We work on a lot of big cases together. She gets to spend hours in the car with me, and it really, I can't think of anything better than that. She's awesome though. She is so far ahead of where I was at this point in my career, and she's the best instincts I've ever seen as an attorney. Liam McMillan, Cassidy Zhang, also two incredibly bright young attorneys. Liam did his first presentation yesterday in front of a room for the Westchester Liberty Chamber. Linda was there, Joe was there, a bunch of other folks were there. He did a great job. Cassidy's learning law from the other side. She's on jury duty right now. She's just a few months in. She's going to be a stellar attorney as well. You know, we live in a great community, and we got to make sure that we don't take that for granted. I didn't know much about this community. I grew up in Finneytown. All I really knew about it was that I took a girl to homecoming. She lived off of Tylersville Road, and I had to drive up 747 past about 300 cornfields to get there. Beckett Ridge Kroger was the only thing that existed along those lines. Because God has a sense of humor, our first house was basically in the same neighborhood that this girl was from. We couldn't have asked for a better community to raise our family. This is a spectacular place. And when I got involved in the chamber and got involved in United Way, I never expected to make friends doing stuff like this. All I was doing my part. And what I found out was there's a whole lot of people that are just doing their part, and they're pretty awesome people. So I'll leave you with this. 2024 is going to be a challenging year, right? Regardless of what happens at a national level, we've got to work together to preserve this amazing community. So this is not some profound JFK moment, not a ask your country what it can do for you moment. This is, oddly enough, more of a Jerry Springer moment, right? Take care of yourself and each other. So regardless of politics, let's remember who we are and where we came from. I think I know most of the people in this room. Everybody's an awesome human being. Thank you for all that you do for our community, because everybody in this room is just spectacular people. I'm honored to be part of this community. I'm honored to count you among my friends, and thank you very much. Thanks, John. There you go, brother. Good job.
Thank you, Lee. So I would again direct your attention to the screens once again to hear the story of our next laureate, Karen Mueller.
To see Karen light up when she is helping us discuss complex problems, or how do we provide access to underserved community or underserved patient populations, she really glows. And I think that's one of the core values that we have, and she exemplifies as a board member.
She always has said that she's not the smartest person in the room, but I beg to differ. I think she's very intelligent and recognizing, let people talk, she listens, and then when it's time to talk, she's able to articulate things and move the process forward. She was very much did that here with our chamber, involved with the Butler County United Way and other organizations, very much community driven.
When Karen first came on board at Horan, I had actually been there 2.5 years. I think we had about 20 or 25 employees tops, and we were somewhere between 2.5 and 3 million in revenue.
Karen and I were hired the same day, March 10th of 1997, but it was very different. We seemed to be much more siloed.
And since that time, and over the 28-year tenure that we've worked together, the company grew tenfold. And Karen is largely responsible for that, from the innovative solutions that she came up with, proprietary products. She certainly helped and was a big part of that growth.
We all approached our business lines as individuals. Even though we shared an office space, we weren't necessarily working as one Horan. And I think Karen's passion to bring that team together really brought Horan together and made us grow from where we were 23, 24 employees to fast forward to 27 years later, where it was over 180 employees when we were all together.
Karen has taken complex data, merged that with her ability to connect to people and leaders and say, this is what the data is showing, this is how we could better show that we care for your employees. That is a really, really hard skill set and something that she has perfected over the years.
She always was forward-thinking in products and services that could help our clients. A couple that come to mind was the health savings account, or HSA, which no one knew about, and Karen brought that to our organization. We basically all learned what it was and were consulting on how that could impact and save costs for employees and employers way before our competitors.
She was interested in becoming a principal for her firm, Horan, when she was at a younger age, and they told her what she needed to do, and she did it and became a principal there.
I think Karen really understood networking, she really understood teamwork, and she really understood for us to become a bigger and better organization, we had to use all the tools inside of our company, not just the area of her expertise.
Horan Analytics was a data warehouse that would store data, and it was especially important for self-funded employers so we could track and understand where claims were coming in and going out. Karen brought that to the forefront, and we actually labeled our own and marketed it as Horan Analytics.
She's challenged us to be able to take that same type of mindset that has helped her be so successful at Horan and apply it to us here at Primary Health Solutions. Numerous times that she's like, if we have something that we're trying to solve, and she's like, hey, I think you should probably talk to this group. Or have you ever heard of this organization? They might be a really good partner. And our patients and our community has been better served because of her thought leadership on that area.
She's always looking for what's next. She's never really satisfied with kind of the status quo, looking at making our region better, bringing people together. And I think those are things that from Karen's legacy that will continue as somebody that it's not about her, it's about the community and how can we make it better.
At the end of the day, what I know about Karen is she wants to make an impact in the communities where she has grown up, where she lives, where she works. And I think that's part of the legacy that's being honored tonight, is just the level of impact that she has made in our region.
She was a woman of excellence here in our chamber and was honored for all the work that she's done. Shirley has been somebody that, standpoint of employee benefits, standpoint of just the connectivity to healthcare, is somebody that has been a go-to for this organization since we've known her.
She is a fierce, loyal friend. Karen has been with Kenny since high school. She's a wonderful mother to Whitney, and she's a loving, giving person. And there's not anyone that I can think of that's more deserving of this award than Karen Mueller.
Those of you that have been involved in sales work of any time know that sometimes you just have to put in the hard work and make it happen. So once again, I had my ears open for reception, was listening really closely, and Karen was having a conversation with another person that was involved in sales. And this other person said, Karen, wow, these 50-hour weeks are killing me. Karen looked blissfully up to the sky, took a sip of wine, and said, Ah, I fondly recall my first part-time job also. So would you please join me in welcoming 2024 Hall of Fame laureate Karen Mueller to be presented her award by Ken and Whitney Mueller.
Thank you all for being here. There's so many of you that I know out there that have, I've been introduced by Karen. That's why I know you. Being at these things, she's just so connected with so many different people. It's unbelievable. I had the opportunity, we're getting ready to have our 41st wedding anniversary next month. And thank you. And I had the opportunity, I guess, if a good thing comes out of COVID, to see Karen in action. Naturally, she was at home a lot. So I would walk by the home office there, and some of the things that came across in that video were things that I was thinking of. Her passion, her glow, whenever she was talking to people, whether it was coworkers, friends, whoever it was, how passionate she is about what she does. She doesn't just sell insurance. She cares about a lot of people. And the other thing I see from that, hear from friends, family, coworkers, people in the community, is how that she goes above and beyond to help that person if they need something in the healthcare world. She'll call somebody, she'll make a call. I can't tell you how many times she's done that, whether it's evenings, weekends, whatever it is, and how much she's made people's lives so much better.
Yeah, I said I was gonna say 2 sentences, but I can't even say how much that she's helped me, just taking on everything that she's done and incorporated in my work and growing up and everything, and I just, she's such a role model to me. But what I'd like to say is her passion and her drive is unmatchable. Her good looks are inherited. And I'm honored to stand up here with both my mom and my dad and present this award to my mom, the amazing woman, Karen Mueller.
Well, that was special. Well, good evening, everyone. And I just want to say I could not be more thrilled than to be standing here with the 2 most special people in my life who have always loved, respected, tolerated, and supported me. Thank you, Ken and Whitney. I love you. Congratulations this evening to all the inductees. It's really a privilege to be part of this special group, past and present. As I heard from Tom and from Lee, it is so great to be among friends, and I'm very honored and privileged to be associated with this group of laureates tonight, who I can all call friends. I also wanted to express my appreciation to Stephen, Joe, Greg, and Julie, who took the time out of their busy schedules to participate in the video. It turned out just the way we scripted it, so good job. I also want to do a special shout out to my dear friend and partner of over 26 years, I'm not sure if he's still here, Terry Horan. Terry has been a wonderful friend and role model, and I so appreciated Terry just always letting me be me. That did not always come easy for him, but it worked out. I also just want to talk a little bit about Junior Achievement. I mean, Junior Achievement is such a special organization, all about preparing people in our next generation to move that community forward. Transferring our knowledge and our experience, but listening and learning is so important, and hopefully we can continue to drive this forward in the future. I wanted to share just a quick story about my experience with Junior Achievement. I was a volunteer for Junior Achievement for about 4 years in a classroom. I was assigned to a group of 2nd graders in Westchester. And I went into that classroom weekly to educate them on community. So we talked about schools, we talked about banking, we talked about government. And it was without a doubt the most frightening experience of my entire life. I would sit and prepare the day before. And Ken would come in and he would say, "Big meeting tomorrow?" I said, "Yes, second graders." His response was, "Good luck." And I needed it. In business, you can prepare, you can anticipate, you can rehearse, and you have that experience to fall back on. But when second graders are in front of you and they start asking and throwing these questions at you, let me just tell you, I truly appreciate my teacher friends that are out in the audience here tonight, because, my God, how you do that, I have no idea. So again, I did get to spend several years in the classroom, so I must not have done too much damage to the kids. I have been very blessed to have the opportunity to explore my passions and be supported by family, friends, and colleagues along the way. And I have met some of the most amazing people, and I'm, know so many of you in the room tonight, and all I can say is, it's very easy to give accolades, but not always easy to receive them. And I just want to say I'm very proud of the work and the things that I've accomplished, but I certainly could not have done it without most of you in this room and many others in the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen, and congratulations. And now I would direct your attention one last time to the screen to hear the story of our final laureate for this evening, Joshua Smith.
Know Joshua for about 13 years. He was in a nationwide search for the city manager of the city of Hamilton, Ohio. And I met him with about 12 other candidates for that position.
And we located this 36-year-old in Howard, Wisconsin, and unanimously chose him to be the next city manager for Hamilton.
And what a great choice it was. Hamilton was a city in need of focus and direction. I think if you asked residents, they were very unhappy. Businesses were closing, corporations were leaving. It was not a happy place. And not to be melodramatic about all of this, but I think we were feeling hopeless and rather desperate.
Respectfully, I would say that coming out of the Great Recession, the city had, for all intents and purposes, hemorrhaged hope, whether it was the city staff, the residents, or the business community. We were a great city who perhaps the best days were behind us. And when we brought Mr. Smith in for the job, he didn't see it that way.
Most organizations have strategic plans, and I've discovered over time that a lot of them are on a shelf, never to be used. Joshua brought to Hamilton a strategic planning concept called OGSM. It allowed all of us, whether we were employees, city council members, residents, to understand what he hoped to accomplish from the very beginning to the very end of this whole system of getting things done.
He's been a driving force in projects that go from the ground up. So whether it's repurposing, brand new use of an area, he just goes from, there's the vision, I'm going to get us to that vision.
I think foundationally, the thing that Joshua brought to the community is a firm belief that it's not only appropriate to dream big, it's a prerequisite for success. And so he's really engendered that in people. He's a true leader, and people respond to that.
Years and years and years ago, residents or business people would go to City Hall hoping for a solution, hoping to find help for a service they needed, and may discover a department would say, "We can't help you now, but maybe if you come back next week, we can do something." That is not Joshua Smith. He is ready right then to listen to your concern, have an open door policy, as are all the members of his department, so that people can get answers to their questions right then.
He's turned a lot of people from naysaying, negative people about Hamilton, to positive people about Hamilton.
He listens. He listens to everyone. He gathers opinions from everyone.
He can work with volunteers doing simply things like litter pickup. He can work with CEOs. He can talk to a homeless person and learn something.
He might be sitting down at a meeting with someone and they don't agree at all about anything, but he finds a way to include that person's opinion when he makes decisions.
He's a government employee, he's a city manager. He's, for all intents and purposes, a bureaucrat. He's none of those things. He thinks like an entrepreneur. He's driven like an entrepreneur. He's every bit a business person in the way he, builds a collaborative base with people, takes them with him on the journey, and constantly looks for success.
He's a man of many interests, kind of like what you might call a Renaissance guy. He's a good athlete. He can talk about probably any subject to anybody. Man, he's a really good ping pong player. I know that. He reads a lot of history. Big Green Bay fan. I mean, he quotes Vince Lombardi quite often.
He's all about solutions. It's not just a lot of conversation. He finds a way to be very involved with solutions that end in results, and he sees the big picture.
His legacy will continue on and on because of the buildings that got repurposed, the people who got opportunities, whether it be education or whether a job that he helped create by creating jobs in the city and the people's lives who he has changed and the people whom he has educated in the city manager type of position. He's done a great job, and he truly has earned entrance into the Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame.
So Joshua and I have spoken at times about his role as city manager, which just happened to be the same role that my father held over 40 years ago. And in having those discussions, talks about the pressure of the job and the stress that comes with it. And somehow or another, that discussion morphed into a discussion about bourbon. So I asked Joshua, well, Joshua, how did you become interested in bourbon? So as he does, he looked me right in the eye and said, John, in the entire history of humankind, never, not once, has an interesting story ever started with, well, I was sitting eating a Cobb salad and... So would you please join me in welcoming 2024 Hall of Fame laureate Joshua Smith to be presented his award by Francis Smith.
So last but not least tonight is an individual, but I'd rather say a proud Hamiltonian that is passionate about business creation and economic development and the Green Bay Path. Beyond his professional accomplishments, he is a dedicated father to Garrett and Braden, who are with us tonight, and also a devoted husband to me. Please join me in congratulating Joshua Smith on his induction into the Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame.
I want to start by saying thank you to Kathy Klink, Rob Weil, Mayor Patrick Moeller for that great video, but I feel mildly left out that Joe Henson did not make an appearance because he literally was on all three videos before mine, so we'll have to work on that. It is not lost on me that I am the last thing between you and the NCAA tournament, so I will be very quick with my remarks. It's also Pastor John Lewis's birthday tonight, and I think that I might be the last thing between a bar and his table over there. And Lee Parrish, I'm sure, is meeting John Reister somewhere at 4 a.m. for some laps at a swimming pool. So with that, I'll go fast. So thank you to Junior Achievement for this recognition. After listening to the three laureates that preceded me, it certainly feels weird to be here because they seem to be so much more deserving than I am. But so to Tom, Lee, and Karen, congratulations on your recognition tonight. When I think about business, I tend to think about my two grandparents, both my grandfathers, both who owned small businesses in Iowa. My Grandpa Lang owned a jewelry store that was in the family for over 100 years. My Grandpa Smith owned a service station, and he was a mechanic. And growing up, I watched firsthand the amount of work that goes into sustain a small business. So when I thought about what I wanted to model my work ethic after, honestly, it was two things, two professions: small business owners and farmers. I grew up in a small town in Iowa. My family at that time was not farming, but all my friends that I went to high school with were farmers. So I spent a lot of time on farms. And the one thing that really resonated with me is, as a small business owner or a farmer, there's no such thing as a direct deposit every 2 weeks into a checking account, that you weren't guaranteed so many weeks of vacation. You had to actually earn everything by your sweat, blood, and tears. So that really, if I could encapsulate what I've tried to do as city manager in Hamilton for the last 13 and a half years, but also in my 25-year career of city management, it's really been that type of work ethic. To Mayor Moeller, Vice Mayor Pullman, and to the members of City Council, I mean, you guys are absolute rock stars. Anything that you've seen in Hamilton that's been an accomplishment in the past decade plus truly is due to City Council and the city staff. Absolutely, without a doubt, they have made the city look great, and for that, I'm incredibly thankful. So many people here tonight I consider friends and mentors. I was thumbing through the program when I sat down. Thank you to Jack and Karen Whalen and to Nick Lonnie in particular for buying an ad. Did not know that, but thank you so much. But there's so many people in this room that I have talked to over the years that truly have been a mentor to me. Coming to Hamilton, spending almost zero time in the state of Ohio until I was 36 years old. It's a little different when you move away from family, when you move away from your friends, and you're basically almost alone. My closest family is at least a 10-hour drive away, so I do appreciate and sincerely appreciate a lot of people's friendships that's in this room this evening. So as I transition out of my city manager job on April 5th, and I start with the Butler County Finance Authority on April 8th, Denise Quinn, one of my new bosses, is here tonight somewhere. I can't see her because there's a light on my face, but I look forward to working with Denise and the board of directors at the Butler County Finance Authority. And I also want to thank, I think I can see in the corner there, Craig Buchheit, who's here tonight, who will be taking over as the 18th city manager of Hamilton, Ohio. The one thing I will say that I think Craig was blessed with, but I was also blessed with, that we were both in Scott Skermese's orbit. And I say that with all sincerity because Scott is probably one of the most common sense individuals I've ever come across, and he's a great problem solver. And I know Craig's going to do a tremendous job as city manager, but thank you, Scott, for all your help. And I want to thank Aaron Hufford and Mallory Greenham. I think they're at the table right there, but they have survived my tenure in my office. And 99% of any work that came out of Hamilton was probably because of those two. Usually I had the wrong idea. I would tell them, they would just nod at me silently, and they would go back to their office and change everything up and actually make it work. So thank you for that. Finally, I just want to thank my wife, Frances. 10 years ago, we met. 10 years ago, remember you sat with Dave and Sarah Vallandigham at the first day of the city dress that she was at, and I think you've been to 11 since then. But I sincerely appreciate when you are a public servant, if you will, or have any type of job that requires a lot of hours, it takes a lot of understanding. She has been absolutely tremendous, supportive, and for that I am grateful. And finally, to Garrett and Braden that are in the back, I think Braden's still watching the NCAA basketball games on his phone. Garrett, who is graduating from the Farmer School this May and already has a job lined up with Parker Hannafin. Thanks to these guys. Now, Braden will tell you I'm not a good athlete, Mayor. He'll tell you that he beats me in ping pong on a very regular basis, which is true. But with that, I'm humbled to be here tonight. Thank you so much for the honor, and go watch some basketball. Thanks.
Okay, how about one more round of applause for all 4 of our laureates? Once again, it has been a real honor to be part of this event, and my lovely wife looked at my list of comments and said, that's about it, right? So I'm going to follow her lead with regards to the basketball as well, or whatever other events you might have going on. Thank you so much for being here, being a supporter of Junior Achievement and the work that they do. And have a fabulous evening and a safe drive home. Thank you again for being here.